Hello friends, welcome back to my little corner here. Fall break begins at 3 p.m. today. As my John and I have been counting down to fall break. We're very excited about spending a whole week together and getting to do some fun projects. John's one complaint about school, which he loves, is he doesn't have enough time to do his projects. And he even gets up really early in the morning, poor boy, and starts working on his projects in his room, and he's always creating something in there. So he's looking forward to fall break because then we can have lots of times to do projects. So I don't know where you all are in your school calendar, whether you have fall break coming up soon or whether maybe you don't have fall break because you start a little later in the season. But anyways, we are looking forward to it. We are headed out tomorrow on a road trip. So if I could turn this around, you'd see the house is a mess because I have bags everywhere and I've been packing. When you pack for little ones, you not only have to pack their clothes and extra clothes and diapers, you have to pack lots of activities, don't you? Things to do in the car and things to do once you're there, just in case it's rainy or they're too tired from the morning's adventures. So I feel like my brain is really full. So if I'm a bit off today in this podcast, that's why. My brain is really full of all the lists and things. I have lots of lists going and trying to make a few last minute things for Arthur to do in the car. But anyways, that aside, we have had a lot of adventures here in between the last time I podcasted. The first adventure was, and I guess we've had so many, I can't mention them all, but I'll cover some of the big ones. The first big adventure right after I podcasted was I went off to the wool gathering over in Yellow Springs, Ohio with Gina, and we met up with our mutual friend, Carol, and we had so much fun walking around. It was a cool overcast Saturday, so it really, really felt cozy, and it made you want to buy a lot of wool. Now, I told them when, you always go into at least I do. I always go into an event like that thinking, okay, what do I need to purchase and what would I like to purchase? And I limit myself to those two things. No spontaneous buys, which has been to my detriment sometimes, but anyways, that's just how I really focus on what do I need to buy and one thing that I would really like to get. So I really wanted to buy one of those really big bulga baskets. I purchased a smaller one last year, but it was just small enough for maybe like a one project thing. And I really wanted a big bulga basket because I have lots of project bags now, and I need a place to put them all and carry them around the house. So that was my main thing that I wanted to purchase, and I needed to purchase 2 skeins of either a DK or a worsted weight yarn. And I told my friends, don't let me buy fiber because I have enough. Well, can you guess what I walked out of the fair with? Yeah, well, I'll show you that in a minute. But it was forecasted to be rainy, but the fun thing about this was, for some odd reason, we timed it perfectly. It rained on our way over there, which was fine. It wasn't bad for driving. We chatted and knitted all the way over because Gina's husband was so kind enough to be our chauffeur. And then when we went, there's 3 big tents, and whenever we went into a tent, it seemed to rain lightly, and whenever we were done with that tent, it seemed to stop. So we never had to wait for it to stop raining to go from the next tent, and it stopped when we wanted to go get lunch, and we went and ate lunch, and it didn't rain until we got into the building and sat down and had lunch. So it was a very amazing trip in that whenever we wanted to be outside, it was never raining, and whenever we wanted to be inside, it was raining. So I don't know how we planned that so perfectly, but it happened. So it was wonderful, and we laughed about it because it was kind of funny how it was always raining when we were inside, but when we wanted to go outside, this stopped raining. Like we were magic. But anyways, so it worked out really well, and I did get a big basket. I found it was really hard. There's so many colors and choices that they have to choose from, but I got a really, really big one. They had even bigger ones, which was amazing to me, but this was the size that was perfect for me. And I loved how the blue and the orange went together. I love orange. I love the color orange. I need to find ways of wearing it throughout the year because I absolutely love orange. But anyways, that was my thing that I needed. And the yarn, I didn't find the yarn. I didn't find the yarn that I wanted to find. I didn't have a specific brand that I was looking for. It was just I was looking for a specific twist. I really wanted a really nice rounded twist. So that's okay, I'll find it. Actually, I did find it when I came home. Wool was having a really good sale on some mill ends of their sport weight, and it was 50% off, so I got 2 skeins that way, so that was perfect. And I didn't bring that down to show you. It's not sad. I guess I was thinking of the fiber event. But this, I got fiber. Isn't it lovely? It is so soft. I think it's a blend of alpaca and wool and sari silk. I hope I'm getting that right. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my goodness. So this was a booth that I was waiting for Carol and Gina to finish with a booth that they were in. They were buying something, and so I had looked through the booth that they were in, and I had kind of meandered down and I came to this booth, and it was so cute and so pretty with bunting, and there was a quilt tablecloth, and you know I'm all about the quilt tablecloths because that's what Susan Branch suggests to decorate for autumn, and I've been doing that. I've been having quilts on my tables, and one quilt I had on my table 2 nights ago, it had the little ties in it. Oh, actually, it's right here. You who are quilters, okay, what are those called? I don't know, but they just kind of grab the material. It's instead of quilting it, you just tie it together. Well, my husband was trying to put his water glass down. He's like, "What's this?" And my mom, who was over for dinner, said, "Well, it's a quilt, so it's got some knobby bits to it." So I would suggest if you do use a quilt for a tablecloth, use one that's been quilted and not tied together, because the tied together will confound the husbands. So anyways, but this booth had a quilt on the tablecloth, and just the bins looked so pretty, and so I wandered in. It just looked vintage and pretty. And then I saw these bats, and they were so beautiful. They were delicate and light and fluffy, and so I think they're 1 or 2 ounces, so I got 2 of them. And and I talked to the lady in the booth, and she was so nice, and she said that she and her daughter ran a farm with animals, and I thought, oh, how nice. It just sounds so idyllic. Now I know it's really hard work. Running a farm and animals is so hard work, but I love the fact that it was from a farm and from people who are taking care of animals, and that it's regional. It's not local, but it's regional fiber. And so I got home. She gave me her cute business card, which I have pinned up above my desk, because their business cards, they took pictures of their animals, and on the front side is a picture of an animal, and on the back side is their information. And the picture is just so darling. So I have the picture posted up right above my work area, and I was looking at it the other day when I came home, and Roving Acres. That name sounded familiar. So I went and looked it up, and sure enough, it was an Etsy shop that I had favorited then I was thinking, why had I favorited this Etsy shop? Then I remembered that they had posted in our group. So they're one of us. They're one of our community, which I was so excited. They're a knitter lifer. Let's see, how are we going to, a lifer? What are we going to call our friends in our group? I don't know. But I was so excited. So they're one of us. So I contacted her and I put the connection together. And so anyways, I hope you guys go over to their Etsy shop, and I'll put the link right down below in YouTube. And I'll try to put it on Ravelry too. I won't have time to do a full show notes today because just with packing and getting ready and leaving. But I hope you go over and favorite their shop and give them lots of love and encourage them in what they're doing, because they're doing a really good job. Just I think it's really hard work to raise fiber on a farm, but they're doing it. And so head on over there and share some love with them. I was so happy. And if I had to make a fiber purchase, that was definitely a very good fiber purchase. So I was really thrilled with it. And she said that she was going to list some bats in her Etsy shop. So there should be some available for you guys, or the first ones who get there. So anyways, that was one of our adventures, and that we had. That was a lot of fun. The second big adventure that I had was this week. Now this week is Spinzilla week, and for those of you who are participating, go, 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 go. And especially Team Luette, go, 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 go. I've been spinning any spare moment that I can. But it's hard as when you are a full-time mom with kids and meals to prepare and laundry and places to take them and doctor's appointments. It's so interesting how you really don't have a lot of time, but you make the most of the time you do. I was thinking as I was doing this, spinning this week, how in the world did mothers get spinning accomplished way back when they really had to get it accomplished, when they had to get it accomplished because it meant warm socks and mittens and hats for winter and sweaters, or weaving yarn for cloth. I mean, how in the world did they get it all accomplished? Anyways, it was because they didn't have washing machines. They had to do their laundry by hand. Anyways, it was interesting to contemplate. I know that there was more community back then, and we have less community now, but anyways, it was a thought that I was mulling over in my mind this week. But that led me up to my son's first grade class they are reading Farmer Boy. They're studying North America. I think they're going to go through the continents this year. So they're studying North America and they're reading about Farmer Boy, which is a lot of fun because it introduces a lot of the old ways of doing things. One of the things that they talked about on their way to a country market where they learned about bees and harvesting and things like that for a field trip, they talked about sheep shearing. And when I heard that, I contacted the teacher and I said, hey, do you want me to come in and show the kids how you take what you do with the fiber after it's sheared, and how you take it from the raw state, the raw smelly state, to cloth and to an actual product. And so she said, yeah, come on in. So I thought I was going to be talking to just my son's class. But when she emailed me back, she said, can you talk to the whole first grade? So there's 3 classes. And that made me a little more nervous. But, they're kids, right? So it's got to be okay. So I gathered all my stuff and I thought about how I was going to present it to their level. And in thinking about it, it's really neat because kids did do a lot of the work and a lot of the preparation way back when. They would have helped with the shearing, they would have helped gather the sheep in, they would have helped with the washing, taking the wool down to the river and helping wash those fleeces out with their moms. And then they would have done some of the carding too. So that would have been one of their daily chores that they would have to do. So it was fun to share that with them and show them, how you card the wool, and show them how dirty the wool is before you get it. And then it was fun, the question and answer times. afterwards. Well, when I had my spinning wheel going, it was silent. They were all mesmerized, which was so neat to see. I almost stopped and looked at them, like, is something wrong? Because it was amazing how quiet 36 or whatever the number was children could be when you could hear when the spinning wheel started. So that was a lot of fun. But one of the questions was, do I have sheep? And I said, no, I don't have sheep. I wish I did, but I don't have sheep. And then another question is, why is the wool so dirty? And if you think about it, kids, we talk about animals in barns to kids, but city kids don't often see animals out in the field. And so it was kind of fun to explain that while the sheep mainly live in the fields and they only come into the barn for specific things like sheep shearing and when they're lambing. So that's why they get so dirty. So anyways, it was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed it. I was tired at the end of it. So big applause to all of you wonderful teachers out there who talk in front of kids all day long, because it's an awesome job and it's also a draining job too. So thanks for doing it. It's a lot of hard work, but we appreciate it. So anyways, those are the adventures that we've done. And we have more to come, which is exciting. I really don't have a lot of finished objects because we've been so busy. I do have this one tiny little one. I did a garland of leaves and pine cones, and this was fun to do with Arthur because he could participate a little bit in, we gathered the pine cones together and we talked about how the leaves are going to change, and he's 2, so it's change, leaves, change. He doesn't get that quite yet, but that's okay. We just talked about it. So it was a fun little project to do with him. I did oak leaves, and I did these, I don't know what you would call them. To me they look like what are they? They're the stinky tree, the fruit that has the stinky tree, and the leaves turn yellow. Why can't you all are telling me the name of the tree and I can't remember? Oh well, somebody will tell us in the board. It's a big tall tree that turns entirely yellow, and the leaves kind of look like this shape, and then they have stinky fruit that falls to the ground and is orange and smashes. It's not persimmons. Persimmons are yummy, but this is a stinky one. Oh well. Anyways, it's this tree that we have here in the Midwest. So that's fun. So this is hanging in our chandelier in our dining room. So just as a fun little autumnal thing, it's all tangled up. What I did is I knitted the leaves, and then I crocheted a chain, and as I crocheted it, I crocheted the leaf into the chain, and then I wrapped the yarn around the pine cone and then kept on crocheting. So it holds the pine cone in there nice and tightly, and it was really easy to do, really fast and easy. I just used leftover odds and ends that I have. So I think this was a bit of hand spun. This is a bit of wool of the Andes worsted from Knit Picks. This was a bit of hand spun again, and this was, I think, Cascade 220, a long time ago. So that was fun. The pattern that I used, I got both patterns off, well, the Oaks pattern I got off of Ravelry. Let's see. Oh, I didn't print out the first page. It's basically just an oak leaf. I searched for oak leaf. Yep, it's a free pattern. I didn't print out the first page, so I don't have the name. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and I think I just searched for oak leaf, and it was there. The next one I did print out a pattern for the smaller leaves, the more rounded ones, but I didn't do it. I kind of made up my own pattern, but you could, there's some leaves like that that look like that on Ravelry, so you guys can hopefully find that. Sorry, I don't have time this week to link to those patterns, but you can find them. They were easy. I just Googled, well, I just searched in Ravelry for an oak leaf, and then I think I did another one, small leaf. So, but that was a lot of fun to do, and they go really quickly. I think I knitted them on size 7 double points. You don't have to use the double points as double points. I just use them as straight needles. You could use circulars. I just like double points because they're nice and short. So, I did finish some yarn, but we'll talk about that when we're into the spinning. There's a lot of works in progress. Of course, right? Oh, well, this isn't a finished object, but I did finish a sleeve, and that counts as something, right? It's not finished yet. Here is Flea Lady, and I did finish both sleeves, yay! So I'm going to work on steeking. I need to do a crocheted steek, or there's a new steek out that I had never heard of that I saw mentioned on Instagram. So I think I'm going to look into that and try it out, and I'll let you know how it goes. I'll show you that next time. Works in progress. Okay, here is an old one, but a good one. A long time ago, okay, 2 years ago, let's be accurate. Not a long time ago, just 2 years ago, I started a hap shawl. You see it? It's so big and all squunched up. And at the time I was nursing Arthur. Arthur was a newborn, and it was fun to do the garter stitch. It was nice and easy. It was very sleep deprived, so it was the perfect thing. And then I started the border. Well, Arthur didn't start sleeping through the night until he was 18 months. So I was sleep deprived for a very long time. So the border just was not, I wasn't getting it. It wasn't flowing well for me, and I was really frustrated. I also hadn't printed out the chart, and for whatever reason, I am such a chart knitter. I know that everybody thinks differently. So that's why I try to include charts and written instructions in my patterns, because you either get it or you don't, and you either need the written instructions or you don't get that and you need the chart instructions. And I definitely need the picture, because I looked at the picture of the chart. This was at the beginning of the week, and I've done all of the dark brown and started into the light brown, just because it's such a fun thing to do. Because once I saw the picture, it clicked and I got it. So that's a word of advice. If something isn't clicking for you, either try the written instructions if you're working from the chart, or try the charted instructions if you're working from the written instructions. So this is the Hansel Hap Shawl by Gudrun Johnston, and I am enjoying it. I have a little ways to go, and then I have the white knitted on border to do. So I'd really like to take this on my trip, but I'm worried that it's too big of a project. But I'm really enjoying it. It's so fun how you can put a project away for a while and just be really frustrated with it, and then you can get it out and fall in love with it again. So I've definitely fallen in love with it again, and I can't wait to get it finished. So one more look at the big ball of mess. The yarn I am using, I wouldn't suggest, so I'm not going to tell you what it is. Oh, all right. Then, okay, I am working on for the Fall in Love knit along, I'm working on this my Life of Leaves shawl, and I have gotten to the October section. So I am knitting it very slowly, one section at a time in the section the month of the month. It's a pattern that goes month by month. So here I am. I have finished up. I've just started the October section, so right up in here. So this is September, and then this is August. So, and I am really enjoying this yarn. This yarn is the Alicia Goes Around Marmalade of Ponies, and it's 100% super fine superwash wool. So it is really nice. And the colorway is Parthia. So that is a fun knit. It's a lace weight that I'm using, and this is in my felted flower bags. She's on Etsy. I don't know how many she has left though. Then there's two more that I have going on. This is my school pickup line knitting sock. We have to drive up and pick up at our school, and we have different lines for different ages. And so it's better to get there a little early and wait in the pickup line than have to be stuck in traffic, because the traffic gets really backed up. So I get there a little early. Arthur's usually finishing up his nap and still asleep, and I do a little bit of knitting. So it's always fun. This is Croy Sack yarn, and it's the Brambleberry, I think is that the name? Brambleberries, I think. I have a lot in here, different old tags. I should clean them out. But yes, I showed this last time. So the Brambleberry colorway. It's fun, purples and blacks. I think that would make really fun fingerless gloves. Don't you think? Especially for Halloween or something. But anyway, so I'm working on that. That's for the school pickup line, and then I'm almost finished with this. But this is one of those mindless, happy, cozy knits that I don't want to end. And every so often I get one of those. Most of them I'm really excited to end, like I just can't wait to wear it, or I can't wait to give it. But this one, I just am enjoying it so much that I don't want it to end. But it's going to end. Look, I have to end it. So this is a Crazy Zobber Ball in the Autumn Blaze colorway. And I just cast on a triangular shawl, and every 10 rows I'm doing 4 rows of knitting. So you end up with these little garter stitch lines in it, which just end up giving it a little bit of texture. So I just wanted some plain, easy, fun knitting with color, and sometimes it's all about the color, isn't it? So this one is definitely all about the color, and I can't wait to wear it as a neckerchief, but I also am enjoying it so much. For some odd reason, it feels really soft to me, and it's just squishy. I'm doing it on big needles. I'm doing it on size 6 needles, so it's very, very light and airy, and the fabric that it's creating, so you can almost see through it, is just squishy. So it almost makes me want to get another Zobber Ball just to do this. Just to do this kind of neckerchief with. I don't have a pattern for it, and I am not using a pattern. The closest pattern would be something like the Age of Brass and Steam neckerchief, I think. But you could pretty much do the same thing with that pattern and a Crazy Zobber Ball. So this is in one of my first little whimsical bags that I made. And speaking of which, I have to thank all of you guys for your support and your encouragement and your enthusiasm. I couldn't believe how fast those little bags that I had made sold. And it made me smile and so happy to just wrap them up and send them off and write little notes to you all. It was so fun. So thank you for that pleasure. Thanks for buying them. And I am planning another update. I'm going to be planning it when we get home from fall break. So I have some made already, and they're so cute. I want to keep them, but I won't. I will post them, and then I'll try to let you guys know when the update is. And again, there won't be a ton, but there'll be some. So, and I'll keep doing them because they're whimsical and fun. They're like their own little fairies. It's so fun. It's like creating a little fairy that's going to help you with your craft and will help you with your knitting. So, but thank you to each of you who bought one. That was a lot of fun. And there's also, I feel like there's so many people to thank, and I'm going to forget people, but Molly of A Homespun House was so sweet, and she wore Mama Ruffles in her last podcast, or maybe it was the podcast before that. She looked so pretty in it, and she said that her husband really likes her in that shawl, which made me happy. I thought that's such a sweet little thing. So it was fun because once I got to know her as a podcaster, just watching her podcast, and I had already written that pattern a long time ago, and I thought, oh, she'd look so pretty in it. So it's funny how, and I sent it to her. So it's funny how she does. I mean, you just make that connection. You think in your head, she's going to look so pretty in it. And then there she is looking so pretty in it. So Molly, thanks for wearing it, and I'm so glad you like it. So, and then a big thanks to Lena of A Wee Bit Knitty. She mentioned the Fall in Love knit along that Regina, hi Regina, and I are doing together, and that runs until the 15th of November. So there's still quite a bit of time. It's been so much fun to see the finished projects in both Regina's Ravelry group and also in the Knitter's Life Ravelry group over in our little community. You guys are doing such an amazing job. Some of the yarn, there's one particular yarn in the chatter thread that is just gorgeous. I want to get it. It just looks like autumn. So, but anyways, so it's a lot of fun. These knit-alongs are such a fun way to see new patterns, to see different yarns that people are using. The Sabrina knit-along has started, and I have got my yarn for it. So it just arrived, and I'm kitting it up to take on my trip, and I'll be posting pictures on Instagram. So you guys can keep up that way. And if you are posting on Instagram, don't forget to use hashtag SabrinaKAL so that we can see all of your pictures. But you can find me on Instagram as A Knitter's Life, and you can find the group over in Ravelry as A Knitter's Life. And I think that's it. I think I should go and continue packing and try to get this uploaded before we leave. Sorry it was so short, friends, but next time I will have even more to talk about, and hopefully some finished objects, because hopefully I can finish some things on our trip. We'll see. I always have greater hopes than what I can actually accomplish, because we end up just having fun together, which is the whole purpose. So anyways, I'll see you next cut time. Happy knitting.